A beautiful Friday evening for some harness racing action from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the pregame show. My name is Elisa Blow, and I'll be joined shortly by my long-suffering partner, Mr. Jeff Bratt. We've had some time apart, but we're back together for the next, 4 weeks, I would say, as Randy Waples takes off on a much-needed vacation. We've got 11 races in store for you tonight, an open pace for the fillies and mares. It'll go as race number 9 on the card. We have some pop-up series action for you, and a pick 6 carryover that's more than $6,800. So lots of things to discuss on tonight's 11 race program. Let's bring Jeff into the mix. Now, Jeff, as we've talked about last week, they're stuck with us for the next little while, but we promise we've been schooled well by Randy.
We have.
And we're ready to go.
We've done our homework. We're ready to rock and roll. Got the filly and mare open today. Now, so much more got the better of us last week, and Lisa was just absolutely kicking herself for that because she loves that horse. And boy, was she ever ready to go off the layoff. Got a nice drive, too, by Tyler Borth. I don't think Tyler really wanted to go to the front, but Jameson said, I'm not going to give you a hole. And Tyler said, well, I better drive on, and just kept on going. So my question that I'm going to pose to one Ms. Blow is, you jumped off the bandwagon last week. Are you back on her bandwagon?
I'm back on the bandwagon, but I didn't use her on top. So
Sophia,
sorry, Sophie.
Sophia.
But she's
Sophie's
in my
gonna be
ticket.
mad.
She's in my ticket. I was very rarely do I do shows where I apologize to horses, and I felt like I had to do that profusely over and over again last weekend. But Absolution is the way I'm going to go. That's the Jackie Moe horse.
Yeah, driver change on that one. All of a sudden, this guy James McDonald shows up to drive, and James is just back, from another driver's challenge, and well, that's going to be tough. You're going from where it's like 30, 40 degrees Celsius to here where, actually, it's not a bad day today.
Not a bad day today.
Tomorrow, though, it's going to be cold.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little taste of what's to come. And we were just talking about that. We're going to spring forward with the clock soon.
Yep.
So then it starts to feel like, spring is in the air. Horses have started shipping in at Woodbine as well. That's always a good sign that spring is fast approaching too. And really tonight, the track looks gorgeous.
I was a little bit worried about that.
Yeah.
Because with the sun shining on it all day long, I thought, so, I didn't know what type of track we would be dealing with here tonight. But obviously, they had it in tip-top shape and are ready to go. It's a lot easier to maintain the track when it gets colder, but when it gets warmer at this time of the year, it's more of a challenge.
Yeah, so it's dry as a bone out there. It looks great. So we should have some nice times on tonight's program. And as Chad kind of alluded to when he was doing the changes, we do have a little announcement to make, and it's worth talking about right now, and that's the suggestion that, or at least the opportunity that we have had to make a bid for the Hambletonian. They are accepting bids, the Hambletonian Society, for 2027 through 2029. We have to throw our hat in the ring. You can understand us doing that. Hoosier Park, of course, has thrown their hat in the ring. We are hearing that the Meadowlands is going to apply again, and then it's all up to the Hamble Society who they choose.
Listen, if we get it, it would be massive. Massive thing to have. There's no bigger day in racing than the Hambletonian. I mean, we've had the Breeders' Crown here. We've hosted it on numerous occasions. It's gone off great. And the thing that I like about the Hamble, too, is it's during the day, which is kind of a little bit special as well. They really get the spotlight, too. So, obviously, the Woodbine media team put out a press reel today talking about it. They had James McDowell there talking about what it's like on Hamble Day. And, you look at Bob McClure. He's won the race in the past. So, it would be amazing to have it in our backyard. So we have to naturally apply for it and just see what happens. And we wish everybody the best of luck here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. I hope that they get it.
Fingers crossed. All right, now we have to talk about the 2026 Driving Championship that's going to be held at Clinton Raceway, and that will determine who we send for the World Championships in 2027.
Right, and so obviously what I love about this is Clinton to me is one of those where it's got that small town feel.
Old-timey feel.
Yeah, and the fact that they get this, that's a massive day for them, and just can't wait to see who's going to represent Canada. Obviously, James has done it in the past. Dougie's done it well in the past, too, so... we'll see what materializes at Clinton Raceway coming up, but it's always a great day. You get some drivers that obviously, they really want a chance to represent the red and white. And you just saw in the Olympics, how proud we are to be Canadians, and obviously, to represent Canada, it's a big, big deal. So Best of luck to everybody that will be participating at Clinton Raceway, and that's a major thing to have at that racetrack.
Absolutely, and from a marketing perspective too. I mean, they can take this ball and run with it.
Yep.
You know, they can do autograph sessions, giveaways. What I like about Clinton is the same thing as you. It almost feels like going to a fair, which is where a lot of drivers back in the day got their experience before they became drivers in live races. So, you know, what a great opportunity for those of you who are racing fans to go out and be so close that you can reach out and touch them and probably meet a lot of these people as well. I'm excited for Clinton and for that day. Okay, we wanted to talk about Monday. I know it seems so long ago, but we do want to talk about Monday and what happened on Monday. I wasn't here, so Jeff's going to tell us all about it.
Well, I didn't have many winners, I can tell you that much. And Randy was very excited because his vacation was about to start.
Yeah, how did you get him to kind of chill out until the last
race?
Well,
it was a bit of a tussle, but we got it done nonetheless. And the big thing is that some of the top guys took a lot of the money home. Louis Waugh and Dougie McNair, favorites, they did very, very well in the program. No, the early pick 5 paid great because we had a couple of upsetters along the way in that sequence. Early pick 4 paid very well too. But because we had some price along the way, that's why we have this pick 6 carryover. And the jackpot high 5 doesn't take long for it to grow, does it? Just seemed like the other day we had the mandatory payouts, and we're now approaching the $40,000 mark there. So I always kind of giggle when we do this recap from Monday because it does seem like so long ago that we did race. Because at least when we had the old schedule, you know, we went from Monday to Thursday, so it was only a few days off. But now we really have a long stretch of days off.
I know. And so it feels like a world ago, but it was just the other day, Monday, and we're going to start all over. Today is our Monday.
It is.
Right? As we begin again. So racing here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All right, let's get started with the handicapping. And we should say that we've had a little help from our buddy Randy. I mean, he's been really good with me, knowing that he's been going on vacation. You know, we've been kind of chatting about races as they're happening, saying, yes, this is one we definitely got to circle for next time. These are replays we should be showing. I mean, we know these things, but it's always nice to have the Hall of Famer holding your hand as we make selections as well for the next few weeks. So race number 1 on tonight's card is how we're going to start things off. Fillies and Mares, non-winners of 9,000 in their last 4. I say Sorcia Sealster's ready, but the public thinks that the Paul McDonnell trainee, Aviana, has a legit shot here. James McDonald taking over. Now, Paul just took over the training duties on this mare, but I just feel like Sorcia is so close that today she should be ready to fire.
Listen, you've got a bunch of horses in this race that last competed against horses that are racing in the Open tonight, and so much more. You got Sunshine Magic. You got these references kind of all over the place. That's how good this quality of competition is to start off the program here tonight at Woodbine Mohawk Park. And you know, I think with the McDonnell horse, I think the big thinking is second time off the bench. You know, that vet scratch due to sickness, so now we get to put consecutive races together. You get into a bit of an easier spot as well. But does she maybe need one more, or is she going to be at 100% here tonight? The one that hasn't been as good as of late has been L.A. Mickey, but I see that Paul Court's making all kinds of changes here tonight. They're removing the Murphy blind left side. They're going from steel to aluminum up front, so I think that's a bit of an intriguing thing. Sorcia Sealster, as Lisa spoke of, raced great last time out. Just going to get to a very sharp horse from the Cullen outfit. And I'm going for a bit of a price play right now on the board, and this is Western Wish. It was just 2 starts ago she won this evaluation and did so at odds of 10-1. Last time she wasn't as good. I watched the replay at least, and I thought, did she have a bit of a block trip? I didn't see that. I just don't think she was as good. But maybe at this portion of her career, she can't quite win at that level. But against these, she might be able to bounce back.
Those 3 horses or 4 horses that you talked about, Jeff, are really the ones that people are going to zero in on. The 1, the 2, the 3, and the 8. They seem like the logical players in this race. I didn't go anywhere else, just to kind of use those horses. And I think, you know, I put the 3 up on top, but you could very easily put the 2 up on top. You could very easily take a shot at Western Wish because she might be at a price.
I think she will be.
Right.
And you know who's right kind of intriguing in this spot is Utopia Blue Chip. Now, I realize she's facing a lot tougher here today, but really, really good form right now. And unfortunately, the one thing that's really going to hurt her is the draw tonight.
Yeah, she's got the dreaded 10 hole in tonight's opener on the program. Let's go to race number 2, second half of the early double. Now we're looking at fillies and mares, 5-year-olds and younger non-winners of 1. And we have a smaller group of pacers here in this race, just 7 that will be competing. We have a horse that's new to the mix here, or we haven't seen the horse in a while, that being Esmeralda du Lac. She had been racing at Trois Rivières, and now she is back here. She did qualify here last year as a 2-year-old, and she had a couple of qualifying races, so one in particular just for 2-year-olds. So she's back now in the care of Eric Nadeau. But I kind of thought this Pelican Bay is interesting because, yes, the horse has found the winner's circle. I know it was at Flamborough, but it was quite easily done.
Was it ever? I was watching the replay with the control room, and we were joking that you could have put a beer on the helmet of Sylvain Filion, and he would not have lost a single drop. He never moved a muscle on this horse at all. And right now we're going to take a look. Like, I'm showing this replay to you just as we're approaching the half, but I just want to show you how easily this horse wins in here. So right now they pull on the right line, and we're just going to, and the body language of Filion will not change one iota the rest of this race. Now, what was in behind the horse? That's a legit question, but to me, it doesn't even matter. Samuel Filion, I should say, was driving this horse on this day. And I just love the fact that on this particular occasion, just a very easy debut performance. And now we're just gliding up in here. The driver on the inside looks like Spence is asking, and not much response on the inside horse, but you watch the way this horse finishes up, and it was an unbelievable performance. It was bet on this day too. I don't think Samuel Filion has won any races as easily as he won this race here today. Watch the body language with this guy here as they cross the wire. And 5-1 on the morning line, I chuckled. I said, "Are you kidding me? No shot." Will you get 5-1 on this one? But I like what Ben Hollingsworth has done. I always like when they go to Flamborough and they get some more racing experience. Look, he's actually trying to get the horse to come back a little bit in here. But I like when you get in there because the way that the conditions are written here, it's for not winners of one race or for horses that have not won a certain amount of money.
And she fits because of that.
Fits into it perfectly in here. And let's face it, the qualifier with the inside horse, it was not bad. I mean, the winner of that qualifier looks really good coming up on tomorrow's program. Red Beach won. We're now getting to start number 11 now in that one's career. Liza May, first start was just sort of so-so. Cupid Shadows had a bunch of chances. Elevate Kimberly's race wasn't all that great coming back. I don't think there's a lot to beat in this race, Elisa.
No, I got a funny feeling she finds herself right back in the winner's circle. And, it's almost like a paid workout, we would say, like that race at Flamborough. She gets the experience underneath her belt. Now, tonight she just has to try the big oval, but she's qualified here on a couple of occasions back when she was 2. Let's go to the 4th race. We're going to skip the third race, by the way, where we kick off the pick 4. We'll go to the 4th race next where we play the pick 6. Now that carryover, as we've talked about, is well over $6,800. We do have a scratch in this race, and it's a horse that we both had on our ticket. Not on the top, but we certainly had the horse in our ticket, that being the 9 Talbot's Treasure. So that horse is a judge's scratch. I went back to My Only Sunshine for Grace Marshman. She owns the horse. Travis Cullen is the regular driver of this one, comes in off of a really easy win back on February the 8th, and I get that there's been time in between, but it really doesn't bother me with this one. Kalina Diamond is the other horse that could be a player. This horse obviously got sick. And you know what I like about that? We obviously we have a qualifier to look at, so it looks like the horse is kind of turning a corner from that sickness, but you got to wonder if she's 100% tight.
Yeah, and that's valid. And listen, I'm kind of banking on Carm having a massive night tonight. I like a bunch of his horses on tonight's program, and here is one on the qualifier. I think it served its purpose, was very easy with J.R. Plant on that day, and they got the win. And with My Only Sunshine, it's so interesting with her. She's a perfect example of the difference between those optional 12.5s and those 8,000 claiming condition races. When she gets into those optional 12.5s, they're just a little bit too tough. But man, for $8,000, those claiming handicaps, or claiming condition races rather, she is just so tough to beat. And it's hard to discount that one's chances as well. I went 6-5 in this spot. I don't think I need to use anybody else.
No.
I mean, La Petite Grease looks pretty good at Flamborough last time out, but that was at Flamborough. But other than that, I'm not too scared. I think the key contenders are, and they've drawn great, both of them. As well.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way as you. I just went the opposite. So I went 5-6. You went
6-5.
But this is how we kick off the pick 6, and for a lot of people, I think they'll just zero in on those two for the pick 6 ticket as well.
I would agree with that.
Let's go to the 7th race. 7th race tonight is for the gals, non-winners of $2,500 in their last 4 starts. Unfortunately for Doug High, this is a shame when you have two horses in to go. Both of them are scratched, and both of them are scratched lame. So hopefully, there wasn't some sort of an accident. I'd hate to think about that. So that one is out. Only the Good Die Young gets us down to a field of 7. Santa Fe's Appetite for the Cullens. I get that she made a break last start out, but she's still in the hot hands of Jody and Travis Cullen, who have been having a monster 2026. So I'm going to just forgive that last race. I'll use this one. All smoke, no mirrors. You think Osceola's going to have a live night tonight.
Yeah.
And this horse is certainly taking a drop, coming out of the nominators of 6,000 to face nominators of 2,500.
And she does have some speed, at least. We haven't seen it as of late, our last several starts, but she does have a little bit of speed. But as of late, they've just brought her way to the back of the bus, and they've come home with these big rushes. Like last time home, she came home in 28-2 and 27-1. It was a really good race. Faded Fire was the second place finisher, and Utopia Blue Chip was able to pull off the victory on that particular occasion. So I just think with the drop, the last time the horse was in for this type of price tag, just missed by about that much when they hit the board. Now, in regards to your horse, Santa Fe's Appetite, I find she's really hit or miss. Like when she's good, she can beat this bunch, but sometimes she has some days where she just does not want to play for whatever reason. So she's a little bit tough to try and predict. And then you have Kira Sealster in here. This Myrner Barn having a terrific campaign. I love the double qualifier too.
Me
I'm
too.
a big fan of the double qualifier. And now, there's no... Is she tight enough? She's tight enough off back-to-back qualifiers.
I'm kind of interested in James taking over on the 5-horse Bequeath because he did qualify her back on February the 6th, and you and I have seen enough James McDonald qualifiers to know, that he doesn't gas them in those races. He leaves a lot in the tank, and I'm just interested to see him hopping on for the first time in a race.
Yeah, and there's a couple of first-time Jameses tonight. Absolution that we're going to get to a little bit later on in the program as well. And you know what? I think for James, he's such a competitive guy. Obviously, you take advantage of the opportunities that are presented when you go in these drivers' challenges, but you lose positions to guys that you're competing against when it comes to drivers' race. When you come back, I think you want to try to get as many as you can.
Well, you got to try and pat it again, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's go to the 8th. 8th race is where we play the final pick 4 for the night. Now we're looking at fillies and mares, 5-year-olds and younger, non-winners of 3-year, $80,000 lifetime. And here's where we find Let's Enjoy. This is a James McDonald horse. Now, here's the deal. If you go back to that 7th race where we were talking about Bequeath, which is the horse that James is going to drive tonight, obviously, he had to drive against this horse on February the 13th. He chose Let's Enjoy, and that was the right horse to choose because she was an easy winner that day in 53-1, which in fact was a new life's mark for her back on the 13th. So I think Let's Enjoy with a monster season. She's looking to be now 5 for 5. And it's fun too because, Jeff, we've seen a few horses that have had perfect campaigns. Arby's Tenacious T is one of them. This horse, Let's Enjoy. We have horses who have really had some serious roles this winter.
And we're trying to figure out initially where she kind of fits in the mix of things here locally because she was obviously one that was racing at other locales in Australia, then came here and has not missed a beat. And, when she beat CC Rock and Rosie, it was under snowy conditions back on February the 13th. And the way she did it was just so powerful. I realize it's replays, not great from a visual point of view, but you're going to see it late in here. And what killed CC Rock and Rosie on this day was the third quarter. CC Rock and Rosie went a third quarter in 26-4, opened up almost 4 lengths and tried to get the jump on Let's Enjoy. But James was clever enough to keep her close enough on that day, and Let's Enjoy is able to pull off the victory here. And they're going to have a bit of a rematch in here. Now, the difference is CC Rock and Rosie is kind of on a bit more of a regular rotation. The bad news is for CC Rock and Rosie, she kind of laid an egg last time out. She was really far out of it, and I don't really think she had much interest on that particular occasion. But right now, Let's Enjoy is going right on by CC Rock and Rosie. I am going to go towards CC Rock and Rosie. I think she bounces back with a better race, but obviously Let's Enjoy is just so good right now. I think it's 2-3, 3-2 to the cows come home there in race number 8. EA Moneymaker in great form, but has to face a little bit tougher here today. But I think that's it. You're going to toss in the 8s.
I am.
Well,
a couple of things
is
on
it the
this
Beau
horse.
Ford factor?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, this was a Ron Burke trainee, and it looks like the Connections still own this horse as well. But this Beau Ford, he's having a really good campaign. He's got 2 in this race. He's got EA Moneymaker, which Borth is going to drive. It comes in off of win facing nominators at 2 or 30,000. And then you get this Lady Cafe Olay, who is a newcomer here. And I just find with these horses, if we can catch them tonight, we'll get them at a price.
Exactly.
If they race great tonight, you won't get a price next time.
Yep.
So I'm going to toss her in and then use the 3, as well as the other Beau Ford horse here in the 8th race. So that race, once again, will kick off the final pick 4 on the night. Now it's time for the feature race, which, of course, is the Open Fillies and Mares. Now, last week we did not have an Open Fillies and Mares. Instead, we saw so much more win. Her 79th career victory. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. If she gets it tonight, it's 80. I hope we have signs out there ready for 80, 90, and maybe even 100. But what's cool is that this was a pickup drive for Tyler, because I believe Doug McNair was named to drive, and then he booked off his drives that evening. So they waited for quite some time before we heard that it was Tyler Borth. But that's understandable. Tyler knows the horse. He has driven her in the past, especially in her races at Western Fair. So she's an old friend of Sophie's. But they surprised us all last week. Now, I understand when you watch the race, you watch the replay, you say, well, there was no hole for her, and, she was kind of forced to keep on going. But also, I've seen this mare pull that stunt once or twice. And every time that I've interviewed James McDonald after races where she just kind of gets to the front and keeps on going, he'll say, listen, it wasn't my idea. She just dragged me there. So 50-50. I mean, there was no hole for her to settle into, but she was under a full head of steam as well.
And the thing that impressed me, too, was more often than not, I find with her, she needs to start coming off of a layoff, but that was not the case at all. 54-3, she was ready to rock and roll. And you know what? She obviously can win this class. She's won this class about 1,000 times in her lifetime. Bobby McClure gave one horse last time out one of the slickest drives I've seen in a long time. And it was a gutsy drive here with Angus Store Hanover, because he could have had egg on his face, because he elected to stay in on this particular occasion. And you're thinking, oh, man, how is he possibly going to get out from this spot in here? But guess what? They do. I mean, look at this. When do horses win from this spot in the Filly and Mare Open? Because more often than not, it's a sprint at the top of the stretch. The outside horse has got some momentum. And traditionally, the horse in the front end's got a little bit left to give as well. But still, no where to go at this portion of the proceedings. And he just pulls on the right line and says, let's just finish up and see what we've got. And lo and behold, she comes home with the last quarter in 28-1, and she's going to get all the cookies here at that 9-1 quotation. Traditionally, it is Trevor Henry that drives the horse, but Bob picked up the drive on this day. And what I love, too, about this race is the fact that it wasn't overly taxing an event for the horse either, Lisa, because you're on the inside for about 7/8 of the race. And then you tip off the rail and you come home with that nice last quarter. So can she do it yet again? That's the big question mark. Now, obviously, a lot of people are going to play Absolution because they see James, and he does take over the driving with this one. The problem with Absolution is, as of late, she always has to go first up. And she just doesn't get the flow to develop, and the front runner always seems to get away with slow fractions. So can she get some sort of setup in here? That is the $1 million question as well.
And she's a homebred for her connections as well, which makes it all the more sweeter when you find the winner's circle with those ones. I think a lot of us are pulling for Absolution here tonight, but I will use Angostura, and of course, I'm not going to get fooled anymore. No. I'm going to throw Sophie into the mix for the third place position.
I got Sophie for second. I went 4-1-7. Tel's on a roll. I just don't think she's at the top of her game right now. I think she's good, and she'll be able to win this class, but last winter she won this class so easily, and it's just not quite been the case so far this year. But I would still never kick her out of my barn. She's been a lovely horse. But I just don't know if she's at the top of her game right now.
Yeah, I had a coin toss for the fourth spot between the 7 and the 6, and I opted for Style for a Mile because she's been pretty live in these opens as of late. So the 9th race, once again, will kick off the final pick 3. A reminder, we have 11 races on tonight's program, and this is the on-track feature, $40,000 open pace for the girls. Let's go to the 11th, and we'll talk about this jackpot high 5, which is growing close to $40,000, $39,234 in the carryover. And we got trotters to wrap up the last race on the program. Non-winners of $2,500 in their last 4 starts. I was like, look, I knew like in my bones that Buck Dancer was going to win last time out on February the 20th. I mean, we're coming back in the same class. We raced well last week. I don't really see why this horse can't repeat.
I'm with you. And again, to Carbon Osceola watching, I apologize. I've picked about all your horses tonight, it seems like, but you know, when he's good, he can beat this bunch. Him and his buddy, Mr. Magic, you know, they usually come in the same van together. They're senior citizens of the racing game, and this is kind of where they do their damage. And more often than not, they pick up decent checks along the way. He gets a beautiful draw here today. Like Victor Invictus, I thought was really hindered by the draw last time. Now it gets a much better draw here today. It could be a Karma Exacta. Who did you put second?
I put the 7 Peso Hanover in for second. I did use the other Carm horse though, Victor Invictus, for fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought like 6, 7. Who's the other one? 9. Like the horses I like have the worst post positions. They're like, you know, they're all on the outside. I didn't really look very closely at the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, or even the 5, who's coming in off of a second place effort. I think it's 6, and then keep going on the outside.
Yeah, I went 6, 8, 7.
Yeah.
That's why I went in there too. So I kind of see it the same way that you do in there. But Jackpot High Five finale with those trotters. Sometimes, you know, if one has a bad day, one jumps it off, all of a sudden you have a 20-1 shot winning.
That's
maybe
right.
The Jackpot High Five goes.
That's right. Lately, it's been Scotty Young who's been bringing us home these long shot bombs. So.
Yeah, no, Scotty. He had Perfetto the other day, which was a pickup drive, which was great to see. And he won with the Oulette horse.
Yes, he did.
We're going to see coming up on tomorrow's program,
yes,
I think it is.
Yes, he's been bringing home some bombs as of late on programs. Okay, something that we started doing not too long ago was this qualifier report where we talked to our guy in the sky, Chad Rosema, about what's been going on these Friday qualifiers that we've had. And last week, Jeff, if you listened to him last week, he gave, I'm going to give you a big shout out here, Chad. He gave you Herb Holland winner at 11 to 1.
My friend Jose?
You got it.
So, funny story about that horse.
Oh, okay.
He texted me right after the race.
Oh, yes.
Says the qualifier report strikes again. I said, I missed it. I fell asleep. So, Chad, I missed out on a nice price winner. I feel like such a dummy. I'm so sorry.
Well, listen, Elisa, what he's not telling you is that not only did he miss that one because he fell asleep, he missed another one of his own because he was washing dishes.
Yes. I'm so domesticated. I'm so domesticated.
Where's the priorities, Braddy? My goodness.
Washing dishes makes me tired, you know?
You do realize that this is 2026. You can advance bet, right?
Yeah, you're true. That no excuse. You're right. You're 100% right.
Man,
all valid.
man.
All valid.
But yeah, no, we're back with a couple more. The focus this week in the qualifiers, and you know what? I think it's kind of getting into the time of year. We're starting to get some horses that didn't race at 2, and they're just getting their careers underway. So we've got the horses I'm going to profile. In fact, are all first-time starters. They're going to be debuting over the next few days here on the program. One that we're going to see tomorrow, Continuum, installed as one of the choices there in the morning line, as is Loyal Leo for Paul McDonnell on Monday. That one's in Monday's opener. Continuum is going to race in the 7th race on Saturday night. And I was pleased with both of their qualifiers. I think the connections are as well. They are not necessarily hidden, but it was just the way that they kind of looked, and I think both of them are going to be prepped pretty well for their debuts. As for Continuum, we'll see it here in a moment. Visually, I thought it was a confident effort, a professional-looking effort, and finished well within himself. Very inexpensive yearling, despite coming from a dam, a Ginger and Fred, that earned nearly $2 million on the racetrack, multiple stakes winner. So very good effort. We're kind of queuing this up over the final 3/8 of the mile. Nick Boyd is just popping the pocket before 3/4 here with Continuum and able to go around who was the pace setter. The one that's wide there off the last turn, that's Paul McKenzie with a horse by the name of Louis the Legend. I want you to keep an eye on this one too. A little raw. But a horse that I think's got some speed. But I really like, Nick's body language, the horse's body language of this, Captain Crunch Cold, and I think Continuum's got a lot more to offer in here. Now, he was supposed to debut back in January, but he was a weather scratch. So instead of just going right to, another race, they said, let's put another prep into it here, and I think it was a good idea. And I believe John Rallis even got some interview coverage with Nick Boyd this weekend, and this is one of the horses he's talking about, so hopefully we'll get that on the show tomorrow as well. As for the other one, another first-time starter that we're going to see, this one of the trotting variety that Paul McDonnell has got. McDonnell's got a couple out this weekend, but Loyal Leo is a new recruit for him, for the Dreamville stable. that, again, was a strong finisher, able to, race in the pocket throughout, out of a local dam that Gary Lance had that was solid and has been a solid producer so far with a couple of, horses out there that have been multiple winners. So sitting in the pocket coming off of the last turn, Century Isaiah is the one that's setting the tempo up front here, an aged horse. And, Paul tips this horse that's never raced in a pari-mutuel event and, again, just mows him down. Pretty good final quarter. I think some of these final quarters may be a little quicker than they actually were, but still good quarters nonetheless. From these horses. Keep that in mind, I think, with that qualifying session last Saturday. But I just like how he's finishing. And what I've noticed over the years, and I know, Jeff, you're a fan of McDonnell, he just generally seems to have his horses ready to go. He doesn't come here not prepared. You know what I mean? He just has his horses ready to go. So I'm expecting a good effort from Loyal Leo on Monday.
I want to ask Chad a question.
Okay,
if you don't mind.
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Jeff.
Because it's a horse that was on the qualifying reports that won off the qualifying reports for conditioner Paul Court, and that's McElroy, who faces
Yep.
tougher tomorrow.
Yep.
I don't know if you have a chance to look at the race in depth or not, but do you think, based on what you saw in that first career start in North America, that one can come right back and win yet again?
100%. I just think that's a strong, well-built horse that has got more to offer in there. Now, with that race, I didn't look right in depth with it. I know it might even be the finale tomorrow, is it?
Yep.
On the Saturday card, but Sobel Ambush is another one that we liked out of some
Right.
qualifiers there. That although he drifted in his debut, he still won nonetheless, and won't be surprised to see some changes made there. But Paul Court's barn's pretty tough to beat right now.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the thing that amazed me about that McElroy was the size of that horse's head.
Big horse.
Oh my, holy smokes!
Yeah.
The horse came on the racetrack. Like, that should be a
Yeah.
linebacker, that horse.
It's like you, Brady, when you pick 5 winners and you get the compliments, right?
Yeah, between my naps and doing the dishes. Yeah.
And putting that puzzle together.
Yeah, the puzzle, that's right. So I got a puzzle.
You know what I always like is that Jeff is Paul's doppelganger. You know that, Chad.
True.
Yep.
I mean,
yep, we do.
Like every time I see Paul's suit sitting around, I think I just want to put it on Bradster and let him walk around the paddock and see how many drives he can.
One's
pick
in
up.
the Hall of Fame, one's in the Hall
I
of
was just
Shame.
going to say, as soon as you get that Hall of Fame nod, Jeff, I mean, it'll be uncanny, right?
Thanks, Rosie.
Okay, always good information and some good laughs, courtesy of Chad Rosema.
night, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
have a great night, buddy. Okay, we have some tickets to pass along your way, and they are I
Pick
can't remember.
fives.
Pick fives?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got some pick fives to pass along your way, starting first with the early.
Yeah, so I got a key in my early of that Pelican Bay. I'm going to key in on that one. So not a very expensive ticket, $36. So my 2 keys, I'm really kind of taking a shot in the 5th race with this Light Chaos.
Yeah.
I kind of like that Bruce Richardson's changing everything, but
Yes.
the drop down in class, I think we might go down the road tonight. At least I'm hoping that's going to be the case. So let's look at my rather inexpensive pick 5 ticket. It's not John Rallison expensive. John spends like $4 to $8, but still not too bad at 36. We've got late pick 5s as well. Now, traditionally, you just toss in the late pick 5. Am I?
Sometimes I do. It just depends. Like, you know.
What were you feeling on this?
Well,
card?
I think I sent in. I can't even remember what I sent in. If it's an early or a late, it's an early.
Oh, you
See,
did the
I
early.
like to kind of shake things up a little, even for myself.
I like it.
So I got a $32 one. So
About the
again,
same.
about the same.
Yep.
I singled Sorsha in the first,
Yep.
and then in the 4th race is where my other key is, and that's My Only Sunshine, the Marshman horse. I'm kind of impressed by this one. So just to kind of keep the ticket a little cheaper, I put in the 2 keys so that I could go a little deeper in race number 3 and race number 5 on tonight's card.
Same type of thinking, though. Like, we've got a couple keys, both of us there along the way.
And that's for bucks. So, if you want to play it for 20 cents, good for you,
Yep.
right? Yeah, that's kind of the way I never like to send in anything really wacky. You've got plays of the night tonight, and of course, one of your favorites is on your watch list,
Yeah,
and at a good price right now.
Yeah, Western Wish right now at 10 to 1. She's going to have to be good. She doesn't get the best of draws here tonight, but I think she's a horse that is always dangerous when she brings one of her better races. My best bet of the night is going to be Pelican Bay coming up in race number 2. I'm hoping that CC Rockin' Rosie can bounce back. How the heck is Seclusion
That's what they want to know.
eligible for this class?
Yeah.
This horse is going to be like 2 to 5 tonight,
Well,
1
she
to
just
5.
squeaks in.
I don't think I've ever seen in the history of pop-up series races a horse that has filly and mare open PPs
Yeah.
in a pop-up series.
I would agree. I think she's the free square on
Yes,
tonight's program.
I would agree with that.
All right, I sent in some selections too. Sorsha in the first.
Do you like how I put her on there, despite the fact she's going to be 1 to 5, just so I can say I got one winner?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. She's a free square, we like to say. Forbidden Treasure in the 5th race. I went over to this horse just thinking that maybe last start out she needed that start because this is a horse who had been scratch sick, and obviously came back feeling good with the 3rd place effort. Might be ready to go tonight. Let's enjoy 5 for 5. I mean, look, I took a chalk horse too, and then I think Buck Dancer repeats in the 11th race on the program. And you think that Carmen Alciello is in for a good night
Fingers
tonight
crossed.
too. Yep. Well,
Fingers crossed.
he has been busy, claiming horses, racing horses, and obviously all that's going to pay off with some good returns in the winner's circle as well. 11 races in store for you on this Friday evening, including an open pace for the fillies and mares. Lots of good wagering on tonight's card as well. Good luck.